Hello everybody, welcome to another very special car. This is a 1994 SL500, the R129 model. First of all, apologies for not posting videos for a while. My usual cameraman and wingman is my son Joe, and he's actually away with the US Marines at the moment. So I have a good friend of ours who's also called Joe doing camera duties today, so thank you, Joe. The one positive thing about my son being away is this is actually his car, so I get to drive it and have a chance to talk about it today and share it with you and my thoughts on it. In my opinion, apart from the gull-winged 300 SL, which goes for, you know, $1 million, this is probably for me the most iconic and most groundbreaking SL in the history of that lineage, and I'll kind of explain why I think that is over the course of the next sort of 10 minutes or so. For those of you that aren't as old as I am, that weren't around when this car launched in about 1990, it's difficult to explain what a furore this car actually caused, how amazingly breakthrough it was for the Mercedes brand, and honestly I would say the look of modern sports cars. The previous generation, the R107, is a gorgeous car, still commands very good values, and we'll actually show you a little picture inset into the video of that car to remind you. But when this came out, it just looked so amazingly different and futuristic and sophisticated. It introduced a whole new design language for Mercedes-Benz that carried on through the new E-classes that came, and the S-classes with this lovely squared haunch and this really sort of purposeful stance, and the sort of the body kit along the bottom of the door sills. It truly was a breakthrough. It was actually such a breakthrough that the Mercedes advertising guys and girls actually changed their marketing strategy. To this point, the Mercedes tagline was engineered like no other car. So it was all about the build quality, the solidity. You know, you had pictures of cars that had been in massive motorway smashes and the people had walked out alive. The advertising for this car when it came out, and I actually have a copy of the advertisement, was, "It's better than it looks." Because the car looks so incredible that if it drove even half as good as it looked, it would be an incredible vehicle. And it was a massive move on from the previous incarnation in terms of performance. I'll show you the engine and the power plant that drives it right now. So let's have a look under the hood of the SL500 and see what makes this car so special and so different from its predecessor. When you first try and get under the hood, you're like, hang on, how do I get in? Where's the clip? Beautiful piece of design. Look at this. The clip's actually under the three-pointed star and is just a gorgeous, gorgeous fit. So this is the infamous and very beautiful 5-litre V8 engine that powered a whole bunch of Mercedes, you know, from this period. Again, I talked about the previous version of the Mercedes, the R107. The previous version of the SL had 242 brake horsepower. Wasn't shabby at the time. This engine produces well over 300, about 315 brake horsepower. 0 to 60 time on the previous Mercedes, 7.8 seconds. Pretty languid. This car, 6.2 seconds. You know, today that's not super car fast. It's not even Honda Accord fast. But at the time, that was a fantastic move on from where it had been before. The top speed, for the first time, limited to 155. It was about 140, I think, in the previous version. This is a beautiful engine. This car itself is in fantastic condition. It's only done 58,000 miles, so you get to see, you know, what a nice car this is. We had to get the hood lining, which tends to crumble over time, and this is a 30-year-old car, replaced. But other than that, the car is in immaculate condition. It runs beautifully, and the delivery of power in this car, you know, it's not that, you know, punch you in the back. It's this smooth, gradual build-up and cruising on the motorway, cruising nicely around back roads. It's just a lovely, relaxing sense of there's power there under your right foot if you want to use it, but it's very controlled, very sophisticated. The whole driving experience versus the previous version of the SL just feels so much more sophisticated, so much more grown up, and that's carried through into the interior that we'll talk about now. So welcome to the interior of the 1994 SL500. I think this is one of the places where you realise where the money was spent in terms of quality. Just for a bit of perspective, this is a ferociously expensive car at the time. So in 1994, when this car was new, it was $99,500, which in today's terms is about 185 grand. So you're talking, you know, AMG GT C Land or lightly used McLaren 570S. And when you get in this thing, you realize that this is beautifully screwed together. Really nice materials that have really stood the test in time. I love the way that the sound system is integrated in the center console. You know, nothing's cracked or faded. It really is a very nice place to be. And I would also draw your attention to something which was a little bit of an added extra, but was a hell of a lot of fun. You go, well, where's the glove box? There's no glove box. You go, this is the glove box. But you'd be wrong. It's actually one of the very earliest cell phones that was built into the car, which is kind of astonishing. So if I show you this little compartment here, right? This is the Mercedes branded cell phone. So if you want to, you know, pretend that you're the Wolf of Wall Street or, you know, one of those movies, this is where it was happening in your 500 SL in 1994. So we've showed some footage of the soft top going up and down, but you know, one of the amazing things about these early SLs is they were a hard top as well. Now, my SL450 that's over there, we took a little bit of footage of the wonderful mechanical ballet, which is the hard top, you know, folding seamlessly into the trunk, out again, and all of the push of a button. This is not quite so sophisticated, so come with me. This is one of the larger accessories that you get with the 1994 SL500, and this is actually a fully functioning hard top, but this is pre all of the mechanical stuff, so it's actually a two-man job, a two-person job I should say, to get this on this bad boy. So with the help of another camera person, I'm actually going to show you how this thing works. Okay, kid. Right, watch those springs. Get it just about lined up there. In?
Yeah, you want to move these right?
Keep it rolling. Yep, that's it. Brilliant, thanks Liz. Hello there, so here we are driving the 1994 SL500. We have the roof on. You can see it's a nicely lined piece. We actually had this recovered over the last few months, and I don't know whether you can tell this on what we're shooting on, but it really is incredibly refined and incredibly quiet. Like with this hard top on, we're literally for the time talking S-Class quiet. I was mentioning, you know, in another part of the video, you start to realize what a wonderfully built vehicle this is when you really start taking in the interior features and the refinement when you're actually driving. And this thing is so quiet. I have a 190 2.5 16 valve from pretty much the same era, a 91, this is a 94, and the difference in the level of refinement, as you would expect, is truly phenomenal. The way this car delivers its power is also incredibly different. It's, you know, one of the best engines I think Mercedes ever made, their wonderful 5-litre V8. Incredibly smooth. You would not call it punchy. You know, it's not something that's gonna scare animals and small children as you pull away from a traffic light. But once, especially you're on the highway, this thing really pulls and pulls and pulls and cruises beautifully. I'll show you a little more when we're on a better road. So here we are on a slightly nicer road, very little picturesque, beautiful evening. And again, I just want to communicate to you how beautiful and relaxed and refined this car is. So I'll punch it here. You get a nice little V8 roll, and it picks up speed. It's not the fastest car in the world, but it ain't the slowest either. And again, for cruising like this, it's really is glorious. So how would I sum up this car? I think I gave the game away at the beginning. For me, this is my very, very favourite of all the Mercedes SLs, and I love those cars, and I've owned them. What makes I think this so special is its discontinuity versus what went before, and the fact that it wasn't just a gimmick. The change in design language, the gorgeousness of the lines, the performance, the quality, they've stood the test of time. I really think this is something that you can daily drive even today. I think it's truly a classic. So, what should you think about? What should you look out for if you want to get into one of these cars? The purchase price may not be too big an issue. You can pick these up, for almost credit card money these days. But you do want to make sure that you get a good example, and there are a few things that you need to look out for. The soft top mechanism on this is hydraulic, and those cylinders, and there are 13 of them, they do start to leak and degrade over time, and that's a 4-figure job if you need to get all 13 cylinders replaced to get that hood working. Other things that I would say just on a day-to-day basis, this is a very thirsty engine. It's a 5-litre V8, and it's not that efficient compared to a lot of modern motor cars. So expect a lot of expensive visits to the petrol pump. Other than that, what I would say is, when we were looking for one of these cars, really good examples that are not trash with like 25 owners are getting quite difficult to find. So my advice would be, if you want to get one of these cars, go in with eyes open, but jump in now. They're only going to get more expensive and more difficult to repair. So, hope you enjoyed it. Thanks, Joe, for letting us borrow your car. See you next time.